China's JL-3 missile has become one of the most talked about developments in the world of modern military technology, and for good reason. This submarine-launched ballistic missile, known as Zhejiang-3 or Jiantwave-3, is far more than just an upgrade of its predecessor, the JL-2. It represents a leap forward in China's quest for a credible and survivable nuclear deterrent. When analysts talk about a weapon that could change the global strategic balance, this is exactly the kind of system they mean. The JL-3 gives China something it has long desired: the ability to strike the United States or any other major adversary from the safety of its own waters, without having to sail its submarines dangerously close to enemy shores. To understand why this missile matters so much, it helps to look at what it's built to do. The JL-3 is reportedly capable of reaching ranges between 9,000 and 12,000 kilometers, which is an astonishing figure for a submarine-launched missile. This means that Chinese submarines could stay hidden in the relatively safe waters near China's coastline or even within the South China Sea and still be able to target most of the continental United States, including major cities on both coasts. That's a massive improvement over the JL-2, whose shorter range of roughly 7,000 kilometers required Chinese submarines to venture out into the open Pacific Ocean, making them far more vulnerable to U.S. and Allied detection systems. The JL-3 uses solid fuel, a major advantage over older liquid-fueled designs. Solid fuel means the missile can be launched much faster because it doesn't need the lengthy and dangerous fueling process that older missiles required. This not only makes the weapon more responsive in a crisis, but also much safer to operate from within the confined spaces of a submarine. It's also a multi-stage missile designed for intercontinental distances with a guidance system that is believed to combine astro-inertial navigation with China's Beidou satellite network. This combination gives it much better accuracy than earlier generations of Chinese SLBMs, making it more effective as a strategic deterrent. Another major point of discussion among military observers is that the JL-3 is very likely capable of carrying multiple independently targetable reentry vehicles, MIRVs, as they're known. That means one missile could deliver several nuclear warheads, each aimed at a different target. This technology dramatically increases the destructive power of each launch and makes interception by missile defense systems far more difficult. If China fully integrates MIRV technology into the JL-3, it would represent a substantial evolution in the country's nuclear capabilities, aligning it more closely with what the United States and Russia have maintained for decades. When it comes to where the JL-3 will be deployed, analysts point toward China's nuclear-powered ballistic missile submarines, the Jin-class Type 094, and its more advanced successor, the Type 096. The older Type 094 submarines already carry the JL-2 missiles, but their noise levels and detection risks have been significant weaknesses. The new Type 096, however, is expected to be much quieter, harder to detect, and able to carry more missiles, likely 12 to 16 GL, 3 as per submarine. This pairing of a stealthier submarine and a longer-range missile will give Beijing something it has never truly had before: a credible, survivable second strike capability at sea. In nuclear strategy, that term, second strike, is vital. It means that even if an enemy were to attack first, China would still be able to retaliate decisively. This creates what's known as nuclear deterrence, a situation where the fear of retaliation prevents both sides from ever using their weapons in the first place. The first tests of the JL-3 reportedly took place in late 2018, followed by more in 2019 and subsequent years. Each test was closely monitored by Western intelligence and analysts, who saw the development as a sign of China's rapidly advancing strategic missile program. By 2023 and 2024, many defense experts believed the JL-3 had entered the early stages of deployment, or at least operational testing. It was even featured in Chinese state media coverage and parades as part of the country's growing display of strategic power. While China rarely confirms specific missile details, the message behind those displays is clear. Beijing wants the world to know that its nuclear deterrent is now more modern, more mobile, and far more capable than ever before. The implications of the JL-3 go far beyond just technology. It represents a major shift in how China projects its military power and defends its national interests. In the past, the country's nuclear arsenal was relatively limited and largely land-based, which meant it was vulnerable to a preemptive strike. Now, with mobile road-based ICBMs, long-range SLBMs like the JL-3, and improved command and control systems, China is moving toward what strategists call a nuclear triad, a combination of land, sea, and air-based nuclear forces. This is the same kind of structure the US and Russia have relied on for decades to ensure survivability and credibility in their deterrent postures. What's particularly significant about the JL-3 is how it changes the calculus for other major powers, especially the United States. If Chinese submarines can now threaten American targets from thousands of miles away, it means Washington has to rethink its entire approach to missile defense and anti-submarine warfare in the Pacific. It also complicates the balance of power in regions like the South China Sea, where Chinese subs could operate close to home, yet still maintain a global reach. This new capability adds another layer of challenge for the U.S. Navy, which already spends considerable effort tracking Chinese and Russian submarines. The JL-3's development also fits into a broader pattern of Chinese military modernization. Over the past decade, China has poured resources into upgrading its nuclear and conventional missile forces, building more advanced delivery systems, and improving its early warning and command networks. The JL-3 is a part of that transformation, giving China a more secure nuclear deterrent that reduces its reliance on vulnerable land-based systems. In essence, it strengthens Beijing's hand not only in defense, but also in diplomacy. When you can project credible nuclear power from beneath the ocean, it changes how other nations negotiate and respond to you. Still, much about the JL-3 remains shrouded in secrecy. China doesn't disclose its exact number of deployed missiles, warhead counts, or patrol schedules for its submarines. Some Western reports suggest that only a limited number of JL-3s may be operational as of now, with full deployment expected once the Type Zhora 96 submarines enter active service later this decade. There are also questions about how effective the missile's guidance system truly is, and whether China has perfected the quieting technology needed to make its submarines as stealthy as those operated by the U.S. Navy. These uncertainties mean that while the JL-3 is undoubtedly a huge step forward, it may still be evolving. Nevertheless, the psychological and strategic effects of the JL-3's existence are already being felt. For Beijing, the missile symbolizes self-reliance and technological prowess, a homegrown intercontinental weapon capable of matching the best in the world. For Washington, Tokyo, and other regional powers, it's a reminder that China's military ambitions are no longer confined to defending its borders, but now extend to projecting power globally. The JL-3 effectively ensures that China cannot be easily cornered or threatened with nuclear intimidation, something that aligns perfectly with its doctrine of maintaining a minimal but credible deterrent. In the end, what makes the JL-3 so important isn't just its range or its technical specifications. It's what it represents, the culmination of decades of effort to secure China's place as a nuclear peer to the world's superpowers. It marks a transition from a landlocked deterrent to a blue water ocean spanning one. And that transformation is reshaping not just the strategic balance in Asia, but the entire global security architecture. The JL-3 is a signal to the world that China's deterrent is here to stay, and that it's only going to grow stronger and more sophisticated in the years ahead. If you're following the evolving competition between China and the United States, this missile is one of the clearest examples of how technology and geopolitics are converging in the 21st century. It's not just about who has more missiles. It's about who can survive, strike back, and deter aggression in a world where seconds matter and invisibility is power. The JL-3 gives China that edge, and as it quietly patrols beneath the waves, it sends a powerful message that China's nuclear shield now reaches anywhere on Earth. So if you're interested in understanding how weapons like the JL-3 are reshaping global power dynamics, make sure to subscribe to the channel for more detailed breakdowns and analysis of the world's most advanced military technologies.